Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well, and you're loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you my esteemed subscribers. You loved, celebrated, and appreciated. What is the force behind France-Nigeria relationship? Now, when I talk about Nigeria-France or France-Nigeria relationship, I'm talking about this recent love that is going on. This recent love relationship that is going on between Nigeria and France, where Nigeria, watch out for France and France watch out for Nigeria. When I say Nigeria, I'm not talking about the Nigerians themselves, because a lot of Nigerians are not happy with the system or the way that their president is going about the whole thing, especially when it comes to relationship with other African countries who are seeking for independence or fighting for their freedom from the hold of the colonial masters, from French government, American government, and all others that have lorded it over them for years now. Okay, so when I say Nigeria, I mean the government and then the one who is in charge of this government, the leadership, the president of Nigeria and the president of the French people. Okay, now according to our able father, he said that France may destroy Nigeria in 2 years if Nigeria keep going in the speed that with Nigeria is going with France today. Now you're going to hear his own opinion as the video progress. Then before then, I'm going to, show you something that explains that there's a lot going on between the government of the Nigerian people and the government of the French people. Now, I want to give you a background story of the whole thing, just a quick one. There was an agitation in the Sahel for the past 2 years. That agitation birthed, kicking out of French governments and other governments, military and all that. In short, everything about them. These Sahel countries wanted to be independent because they were pushed to the point where they needed to fight for themselves. They kicked out their democratic leaders and decided to put in a military guys took over because they felt like they are aware of this whole corruption and they do not want to sit on this anymore. That gave birth to some uprising and a lot of agitation. As at that time, the whole of the Western media want to turn the whole world against this countries in the Sahel that kicked them out, that what they are doing is bad, that they are dictators, that they are juntas, that they are, you can name them different names that they use for these freedom fighters of the countries in the Sahel. After that, the French lost a lot because they tried everything to go back. It wasn't possible. They tried diplomacy. It didn't work. They tried threatening. It didn't work. And they saw that it's dawned on them that it's just time for them to go. Like, these people are not going to accept them back again. And then they started looking for other ways, other means to get themselves back into the Sahel countries or to destabilize the Sahel countries. Either of these two. It's either we come back to you or we destroy this economy that you claim you are building so well. And then the plan was in motion. Macron was going about, like he wanna run mad. You see him saying things. Sometimes you ask yourself, to the point where he said that Africa is his home and his continent. We talked about that here. He went up and down different countries in the motherland, trying to turn them against the Sahel nations. And the joy now is that all these countries he went to are now taking the step of the Sahel nations. They are kicking out the hold of French and other, foreign bodies in their nation. Instead of betraying their brother, which they did initially, but at the end they realized that it is better they go with their brothers than betraying their brothers for the Europeans or the Americans. And this same group of people, this French government, looked for a way. They sat down and felt like the best option for them is to come through Nigeria. And like I keep telling you in some videos, only the heavens and the president of Nigeria knows what the French government is holding against them. That is making them not able to say no to the French government when the French government asks for something. When the French government say, okay, now you need to do this in a disguise, you need to look for a way to destroy this, you need to look for a way, the Nigerian government cannot say no. Why? What is that thing holding the government? All these things are there on the internet. There have been information and news how the French government, they seized the presidential jets that belonged to the president of Nigeria was seized by the French government. What concerns Nigeria's supremacy and their jet, the jet of their president, with the French government? People asked question at that time, there was no answer. And this all point back to one thing, which all of us have known. It's either you're a puppet to a particular person or a nation. If not, how would they just be doing that to you and you do not have an explanation? A candid explanation, like a serious explanation for your people. So this is the backstory of what is going on. Now the French government is seriously looking for a power that is supreme, that they can use to destroy countries that have kicked them out, since these countries are refusing to accept them back. They don't have any other way. They want to destroy this country so that they can look for their way back into this country. This is a picture that we are seeing. It's not coming from Abigail alone. When you look at the whole situation going down in the Sahel, after they kicked them out of the Sahel, they used force. It didn't work. They started saying that they love the Sahel so much. They want to help the Sahel. Love became by force at that point. I keep telling you, it's like the love of France now for the Sahel is a by force love. The Sahel say, we don't want your love. France say, I must love you by force, you see. So that is the situation. And I want you to listen to this before we get to...
Steve, if France could help any country with security, why didn't he help Mali? Why didn't he help Niger? Why didn't he help Burkina Faso? Why didn't he help Chad? It's been there forever. Their troops have been there forever. You think it didn't help them with all their bases? It's going to help you? Steve, let's wake up. Only Nigeria can help itself by liberating itself from these colonial forces that are doing nothing but stirring trouble in the Sahel. Doing nothing but stirring trouble in the Sahel. So for anybody to think France is coming to help us with security is deluding himself. The biggest problem we will have is this. And this is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his misfiring of how to handle the situation after the coup in Niger is the one increasing more insecurity coming to Nigeria. Because Niger and Chad and Cameroon, they've been doing a lot of heavy lifting on our behalf, fighting Boko Haram and bandits and ISWAP. Now, you're not going to talk to them, you're fighting them, they lift their feet off the brakes, and these guys roll in. France is not going to help you with that. The only thing that will help you with this Lakurawa nonsense, this optic we are seeing in Lakurawa is suspect. I'll tell you. I had the other day the spokesperson of the defense headquarters in Nigeria saying, in his press briefing, say Lakurawas, they are new, they are related to the coup in Niger. Hello, Mr. Spokesperson, you should know better. These Lakurawa, as we know today, have been around in this country, a sovereign Nigeria, non-state actors from Mali or from wherever came to Nigeria. They've been here for 7 years. 7 years, since 2017, at the invitation of local communities to help them fight bandits, to help them do the job that security services could not do. They came under the nose of the federal government, under the nose of the state government, under the nose of all security services, under the nose of all our intelligence services. And now all of a sudden we are doing this. The question to ask Nigerians should be asking is, why did we allow a non-state actor to come into Nigeria, settle, and continue its activities for the past 7 years? And why all of a sudden are we saying, oh, Lakurawa, 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 just to give a reason for France to come in? That is the only reason. Fellow Nigerians, you can never stop this Lakurawa, Boko Haram, and all these bandits, all these terrorists, if you don't have good relationship with your neighbors. Not France. Bringing France in is going to make us into a hotbed for terrorism, is going to make us poorer, is going to make us second-class citizens. They will open a base in Katsina State and be digging our gold And I cannot go there as a person from Katsina. We've seen that in Niger, we've seen that in Mali. This is what they have been doing. So fellow Nigerians, we should open our eyes. We in the north will vigorously resist any attempt by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government to allow foreign military bases on our soil. End of story. I don't know how else to say it.
Your Majesty, that's from a Nigerian professor saying it as it is. And of course, a lot of persons are beginning to see this as a religious fight. You see the reason why I keep talking about religion, I keep flogging religion, I do not want to let it go, because it is dividing us. As a melanated people, is making us weak, is making us confused. There are people who feel like, oh, because he's a Muslim, and the Jagaban is not supporting a Muslim agendas anymore, so he's coming out on the right now to, make Jagaban look bad. But look at the whole situation, my kings and queens. This is it. Now, when I look at this whole thing, I saw all the countries around Nigeria, West Africa, right? The West African countries around Nigeria are all pulling out from the hold of imperialism. They are cutting off from the French government and kicking them out. The countries around Nigeria. Just imagine if all these countries succeed in kicking out French military, and then Nigeria accept French military. Like, how will you live as Nigerians when your neighbors, the enemy of your neighbors, you accept them into your home? Like, your neighbors kicked out someone, they say this is an enemy, they kicked the person out. You went and carried the enemy and brought the enemy into your home. And your neighbors, they are living around you. When there is an issue tomorrow, who is going to defend? Who is going to protect you? Is it not just you creating more trouble for your citizens as a president? Is it not you creating more trouble for your citizens as a leader of a sovereign nation? France is going to make Nigeria look like the bad egg. France is going to create enemy for Nigeria. France is going to be that thing that creates problem between Nigeria and her neighbors, her brothers around her. And Nigeria has to be very careful.
France is the worst of the colonizers from all objective assessments. Of course, Samora Moises Machel said it is wrong to categorize slave makers as one being better than the other. But permit me to say that they were the worst. A breed of young men and women begin rising. They rise in Guinea-Conakry, and the first thing they do is they say, we abolish all the agreements that exist between us and France. They rise in Burkina Faso and they say the same thing. They rise in Mali and they say the same thing. They rise in Niger, which has been providing you with uranium. Now you can't take it. I think they cannot take it because they are losing food which has been inside of their mouth. And they do not know how to behave. As somebody once said, without Africa, there is no France.
Tinubu ya hito ya yi ma 'yan Najeriya bayani fassara bisa kai ga kudin da ya amso Faransa. In bai gayi ba akwai ranar kindillanci sosai kuwa tunda shi Allah.
Tinubu should come forward and explain to Nigerians the funds he received from France. If he fails to do so, the truth will eventually come to light. God will reveal it. Despite the attack on us, we have not taken money from anyone, so no one can accuse us of corruption. I've been around the corridors of power for 13 years, and no one can claim that I've ever accepted bribes.
Even when you regained your freedom, really you did not regain it. Your master still had control over you. And laws such as that were laws which were designed to ensure that you continue slavery. And the reason was this: it is not everybody who agreed to the abolition of slavery. So that even when slave trade had been abolished, slavery still continued. The only thing that stopped is that you could no longer legitimately sell human beings as commodities. But slavery remained, and as we speak, remains now. So in many of those parts of the world, you still had enslavers who could come for you.